So, wait, any idea what happened last time?
Not exactly. I just got hit by that metal thought out of nowhere. I guess it must have something to do with that game I ordered a while back, but I don't know.
That's ridiculous! A game can't be haunted! Maybe Fawn had something to do with this. It has been a while since your last encounter.
Maybe, but I can't take that risk. Tutio, have you ever heard of the Bloody Mary Massacre?
Enlighten me.
Years ago, a Satanist performed a ritual to try and send his sins to the devil. But the ritual ended up backfiring, and the man appeared to be fine. When he went to go visit his fiancée later that night to play some NES games, again, everything appeared to be fine, until later that night. What ended up happening was that he woke up, killed his fiancée, and then killed himself. The walls were splattered in blood, but no one has ever been able to figure out what happened.
I see. But what does that have to do with what's going on right now?
I don't quite know myself, but whatever this thing is that attacked, I have a feeling it's going to make its appearance soon.
Okay. But I think until then, it's best you get an operation for your eyes.
Why?
If you unlock Susanoo, it drains your life energy under normal circumstances. However, if you have the Reuniclus, that problem is negated. But where will we find it?
Tutsuor, I can make you talk. That must mean that I have some ability to make inanimate objects living.
So, what you're saying is that you have a chance to make something like the Reuniclus real?
It's possible, but right now I have part 4 to work on. In the meantime, you get working on the operation.
Fossil Pokemon are rather fascinating. Taking a fossil and reanimating it was pretty unique back in the first generation, where the only other way to get a Pokemon was to either catch it in the wild, or be like Eevee and get it as a gift. So, what fossil Pokemon should I start with? Omastar? Rampardos? Close. Kabutops? How about Shieldface? With the highest defenses of all fossil Pokemon thus far, Bastiodon is the defense of the Sinnoh fossil Pokemon. And honestly, I prefer it over Rampardos. Now that's not saying Rampardos is bad, it's a great Pokemon, and with Rockhead, it's a beast. But for the sake of this list, I will just say that both are good Pokemon, but I will only discuss Bastiodon due to having more experience with it. Based on a Ceratopsian dinosaur, Bastiodon is a wall, and with defenses in the 400s, it can take hits, set up entry hazards, or even poison your opponent. In fact, its defenses are so strong that when they are lined up side by side, no foe could break through it. So even Terrakion gets pushed back by this? The Pokemon that could smash through castle walls?
Speaking of, is this the wall you mentioned in the last part?
No, Tutor. Bastiodon was introduced in Gen 4, not Gen 2. Let me give you a mental image before I show you this entry. It's a Pokemon covered in green jello. Here we have the white exclusive Pokemon Reuniclus. Based on cells, Reuniclus is a powerful psychic type that can destroy fast defensive teams by simply turning their speed against them with Trick Room and utilizing its great special attack stat. Reuniclus's abilities are also really good. Overcoat prevents Reuniclus from taking weather damage, Magic Guard prevents status effects, weather conditions, and entry hazards from damaging it, and Regenerator restores a bit of its HP when it's withdrawn from battle. So with its abilities and stats, it's no surprise that this Pokemon is in the OU tier. It's a really good Pokemon to use. So where's Gothitelle?
Before asking, we finalised the entries months before using Gothitelle for the first time, so don't expect it on this list. Sorry.
I have a mixed opinion on Dragon types. On the one hand, they're powerful Pokemon. On the other hand, they take forever to level up, and sometimes they may not be worth it in the main game. Yes, that would be an example. But this next Pokemon actually comes from the same generation as Salamence. Although Altaria is inferior to Salamence, I still prefer Altaria for a multitude of reasons. For one, it takes less time to evolve it, which means while you're on your way to evolving Bagon and Shelgon, Swablu has already evolved. I also love its abilities. Natural Cure heals Altaria's status condition when switched out, and its Dreamworld ability Cloud 9 removes weather effects, which is always good. Granted, its stats are pretty weak compared to its Dragon Brethren, but with its good special defense stat, Altaria can be a great supporter. You could also make it a special attacker with moves like Draco Meteor, but it's not the best idea, even with a Dragon Dance set. Altaria is based on Peng, which were an enormous Chinese bird said to travel 3,000 li, I couldn't get a proper metric conversion, with one flap of its wings. That's pretty cool. Plus, I love its design. It's a bird covered in clouds, that's adorable. Plus, it's a Pokemon that sings in a beautiful soprano voice, and when it bonds with a person, it will gently envelop them with its soft wings. Aw, that's cute! Wait, where was I? Although its typing of Dragon Flying gives it a 4 times weakness to Ice, it does gain a ground immunity and 5 resistances, which is always good. Altaria may not be the best Dragon type in the world, in fact there's a better Dragon type later on this list, but Altaria gave me so much joy when I played through Gen 3, I feel it's worth its spot on the list. I wasn't a big fan of the Horsey line back in the first generation. They were generic water types with terrible stats. Sure, it could use Surf, but so could a lot of other Gen 1 Pokemon, and they had better stats. So what happens when Gen 2 comes around? Now that's an improvement! Kingdra takes the lame Horsey line and takes a big step forward, while also taking 2 steps back for some parts. Stat-wise, Kingdra's pretty balanced, having 95 base for almost every stat except speed and HP, which are lower. But because of the way its stats are, it's tied with Altaria for having the lowest HP of all Dragon types, which is rather fitting because they're right next to each other on this list. However, despite that issue, Kingdra can be a real threat in the UU tier, especially with its abilities. Oh yes, its abilities. I just love them. They can take Kingdra's low speed and make it into a monster, or cripple your Pokemon with a critical hit. Kingdra's 2 main abilities are Swift Swim and Sniper. Swift Swim increases its speed in the rain, and Sniper increases Kingdra's chance of landing critical hits, which can be boosted further by giving it either Life Orb or Scope Lens. Its Dreamworld ability Damp is good too, but compared to its other abilities, it's not that great unless you deal with a Pokemon like Electrode. Kingdra is based on a weedy sea dragon, while also resembling a seahorse a bit, and I find it to look pretty cool. Although I may not agree with the method of evolving it, I was able to find a way to get over it. So satisfying. Wait, wasn't I supposed to be praising it?
Yes!
Waterstone or King's Rock? Well, since I don't have a link cable on me. Now, before any Politoed fans complain, I love Politoed. It had a great anime appearance, I love its hidden ability, and has a really cool design. But I had more experience with Poliwrath than Politoed, so that's why it's here. Anyways, I love Poliwrath. Based on Glass Frogs, it has a great typing of water and fighting, which was unique at the time, until Broly came along. It has good enough stats to make it a threat in the RU tier. And with a great move pool that supports its physical attack stats such as Submission and Circle Throw, it proves my point. Hell, its muscles are so strong it can keep swimming in the Pacific Ocean without resting once. Damn, that's impressive! Poliwrath also has great abilities. Water Absorb heals Poliwrath if it's hit by a water type attack, Damp removes the threat of self-destruct and explosion, and Swift Swim increases its speed in the rain. So put this guy in a double battle with Politoed and watch the magic happen. Poliwrath may not have any immunities due to its typing and gains 5 resistances as a result of that, but it also gains 7 resistances. Hell, some of the types Poliwrath's resistant to are commonly used in competitive play, so that's a plus. Poliwrath also had some really good appearances in both the anime and manga. In the anime, Poliwrath made a lot of appearances, and in the manga, it was Red's first Pokemon. Sure, Poliwrath's no Chuck Norris, and compared to Keldeo, it's weak. But in terms of Gen 1 Water-type Pokemon, this is hands down one of my favorites. Does anyone remember top 10 favorite Pokemon? If you do, you probably remember a couple of things. 1, my voice was stupid. And 2, Staraptor was on that list. I love the first flying types you get at the beginning of the game. They may not be the best stat-wise, but in the main game, I find them to be pretty effective. So who's up first? An odd choice, but Unfasten was a useful Pokemon when I played through Unova back in Gen 5. Based on pigeons, Unfasten is a special sweeper. But unfortunately, it's not that good compared to other normal flying types like Dodrio, Braviary, or even Swellow. So it's probably not the best idea to bring it into competitive play unless you want Unfasten stew. On the plus side though, I like that Game Freak gave Unfasten an actual difference in its genders, because most of the time, the Pokemon with gender differences were usually tiny. With Unfasten, the differences reflect sexual dimorphism in real-life birds. In the real world, the male birds have large wattles in order to attract the females to them, and that also applies in this game with the male and female Unfezzants. Kudos, Game Freak, kudos. Anyways, in terms of the main game, Unfasten's stats were good enough to deal with opponents like Clay, Berg, and even the champion. It was that good. It also has really good abilities. Big Pecs prevents the defense stat from being reduced in battle, Super Luck increases Unfasten's critical hit ratio by 1 stage, and Rivalry deals more damage to Pokemon of the same gender. Now into the anime. I did like Ash's Unfasten. It had a good personality, and I enjoyed some of its battles. And when Ash got to the Unova League...
Done!
Just show it. Yes, folks, I admit it. Despite my pot shots at this guy, I like Charizard. To begin with, I love its design. It's a fire-breathing dragon! In a generation of bland designs, Charizard I feel stands out the most, and I think Game Freak agrees with that. He was the mascot for Pokemon Red and Fire Red, he's in the anime owned by the main character, he's in various Pokemon manga, he was Red's main Pokemon in Origins, he's playable in Smash Brothers, he has 2 Mega Evolutions, which I won't cover in this segment by the way, and the list goes on. However, with that much publicity comes an issue. If you've seen an overrated Pokemon list on YouTube, odds are you will see Charizard on there. That's right, because of Charizard's publicity getting so big, including the Pokemon being on various top 10 favorite Pokemon lists, it is labeled overrated by so many fans. Another issue with Charizard is its 4 times weakness to Rock. Due to its typing of Fire and Flying, when it's sent onto the field with Stealth Rock, it will lose a lot of health automatically. Combine that with its ability Solar Power, which gives Charizard a boost in attack but at the cost of losing health each turn, and a lack of recovery moves, Charizard is one of the only few starters to be in the lowest tier of competitive play, NU or never used. Now look, I'm not going to stand on a soapbox and tell people that hate Charizard that they're morons or something like that, because I admit, I may like Charizard, but I'm not afraid to say it has some big problems that can cripple it. Yes, it has crappy defenses. Yes, it has horrible recovery moves. And yes, its abilities before Mega Evolving are crap. But that doesn't stop me from liking Charizard. One of the reasons I like this Pokemon is because of Ash's Charizard. It started off as an obedient Charmander, and then evolved into a mischievous Charmeleon, and for a while, a disobedient Charizard. It did respond to Ash's commands eventually, by the end of the Orange Islands, but by the time Johto came around, he left it in the Charizard Valley to get a Cyndaquil instead. Don't get me wrong, I like Cyndaquil, but why? Yeah, I get the reason, but still. But hey, I do like it when he makes an appearance every once in a while, and I did enjoy his fight with Articuno. I like you, Charizard, but your weaknesses prevent you from getting any higher. For the first 2 generations, Grass-type Pokemon were great to use, but at crap speed. When Gen 3 came around, we got... Sceptile. This Pokemon took the Achilles heel of the previous grass starters and kicked it to the corner. Sceptile has the best speed of all non-legendary grass-type Pokemon thus far, and it gets even better if Sceptile has its Dream World ability Unburden, which doubles the speed stat if Sceptile's held item is lost. Combine that with its great special attack stat, Sceptile is a great special sweeper to have in your Sun team, and possibly even on any team. Sceptile is based on the dinosaur Diplophosaurus, with a bit of inspiration from geckos. It looks really cool, and with those blades on its arm that can slice through thick trees, kinda reminds me of a samurai. Sceptile also used to have a signature move, Leaf Blade, which perfectly fit with the Pokemon due to its design, but was then changed in Gen 4 so that more Pokemon could use it. Oh well. I also really liked Ash's Sceptile. Starting off as a Trico, it had a cool, calm, and collected personality. As he evolved, he got more and more badass. And after getting his heart broken as a Grovyle, he evolved to Sceptile, at a price of not remembering his moves for a bit. However, he did have some fantastic battles as a Sceptile, the best example I can think of being against Tobias' Darkrai. Although Charizard fought against the legendary as well, the difference was that Charizard was facing a Pokemon that had massive weaknesses to Charizard. Sceptile, on the other hand, was fighting a Pokemon that was pretty much neutral to it, and yet he was still able to pull out a win for Ash, which was so satisfying. Too bad he lost to Latios a few minutes later. Speaking of loss, I think it's time I discuss the one for Mystery Dungeon 2. Spoiler warning. Grovyle is from the future where the temporal tower collapsed and time stopped, resulting in an apocalyptic environment where little life remains. Grovyle also worked together with the main character to go back in time to stop this future from happening. But Dusknoir made it back first and for a while convinced the populace that Grovyle was a villain who was taking the time gears to cause this horrible future. When the truth is found out and you make it to the Hidden Land, you have one final fight against Dusknoir, and after the fight ends, Grovyle sacrifices himself to stop Dusknoir by pushing him into the time portal, giving you and your partner the chance to save the world. Afterwards, in the special episode, Grovyle and Dusknoir make a temporary truce to save Celebi, and in the end, they save Celebi, and Dusknoir has a change of heart due to Grovyle's words getting through to him. I put the Sceptile line on this list because not only did it do something unique with the grass types at the time, it also had a great anime appearance, a great appearance in Mystery Dungeon, which some may say is motivating, and it was a really great Pokemon to use. Based on Toads, Toxicroak is a great Poison-type Pokemon introduced in the 4th generation. The first thing about this Pokemon is its unique typing of Poison Fighting, which makes it resistant to Rock and Dark types as well as the other resistances a Mono Poison type has. Another plus is its abilities. Anticipation warns you if your opponent's Pokemon has a super effective move. Dry Skin boosts your HP in the rain as a cost of losing health in the sun, and Poison Touch has a chance of poisoning your opponents if they hit Toxicroak with a physical move. My only complaint though with Toxicroak is its stats. While it does have a great attack stat and decent stats everywhere else, Toxicroak is only really good on a rain team, because with the lack of recovery moves and a 4x weakness to Psychic, Toxicroak is a fragile Pokemon to use. To close off part 4 is... just show it. Odds are some of you are questioning, why the hell is Bibarel higher than Sceptile or Charizard? Well, let me explain. A lot of people mock this Pokemon because of how weak it is as a water type and how its only use is as an HM slave. I will admit that stat-wise, Bibarel is not that great in competitive play and that its best stat is focused on physical attack, but I still like it. For one, Bibarel looks so cute with that derpy face. 2, it was pretty good throughout my run of Pokemon Diamond. And you gotta admit, despite it having weak stat, it does have some good abilities. Simple doubles all status boosts / drops. Unaware ignores stat boosts / debuffs on other Pokemon other than speed. And then there's the ability that made Smoke on users rage, Moody, which lowers a random stat by 1 stage while also raising another stat by 2 stages in the same turn. So that does raise this question. If Bibarel has these great abilities, why does its stats suck? Well, I have a theory. Maybe Game Freak made this Pokemon weak on purpose. Think about it. If this Pokemon had fantastic stats and these abilities, it would be absolutely freaking broken. So Game Freak decided to balance that out by making it weak stat-wise. Maybe that's not the actual reason, but it's just a theory.